Hey, welcome back to JB Breaks Free. I hope you're having a great day, a blessed day, and getting 1% better than yesterday. And breaking free from anything that's holding you back from having the best day ever and becoming the best version of yourself. That's my purpose, my passion, my drive, my priority every day. Some days I do better than others, but it's all good. It's a process and I'm enjoying it. Got a lot of great stuff I want to talk about today. Before I get into those topics, I want to say I missed you guys yesterday, but I was recording an awesome video with Jan from NYC Saves Money and Steve Young 74. That one will be released Thursday at 7 p.m. on Jan's channel. If you want to check that out, that would be awesome. Let me know what you think about it. I did get out in Instacart a little bit today. I made $40. I'm at $96 for the week. Trying to amp it up a little this week. I'm going back to work after quite a bit of time off, and I'm also anticipating more days off, kind of since we're a little bit overstaffed. But I'm going to use that time to be free and to adjust and to document those processes of how much that I can make in an 8-hour Instacart shift. I've never really had to do that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that feels after a nice 8-hour shift. But today's topics are going to be about change and a couple Bible verses that deal with that subject, which led me into how can we treat our bodies like a temple? And that's something that I've been struggling with. There's a lot of areas where I've broken free from that I've done really well, being positive, not overspending, kind of being a minimalist, being trying to be as stress-free as I can, not going out too much. But where I am struggling still is with my diet and healthy habits, and how can we treat our body like a temple. So I think there's two great verses that I want to talk about during that, and also 5 ways how we can apply, 5 lessons that we can apply to our life to treat our body like a temple. I also want to talk about 5 daily habits that we can apply to our homes and our houses and where we live that we can have clutter-free. And living in a home with 3 other non-minimalists, clutter-free habits are a great thing that I try to keep up with. But I am proud of my girls so much. We were just talking the other day. They are aware that stuff does not bring them happiness. That is so cool. They're very family first, family orientated. So I'm happy that I'm treating them that lesson. I try to get on some money lessons with them too, and they're curious, so I'm excited about that. And then one of the 5 clutter-free habits that we can use has a Zen aspect to it, which reminded me that I haven't talked much about Zen philosophy on this channel. Little bit. I've gotten my minimalist tendencies from that, basically. I got pretty deep into Zen philosophy and Buddhism philosophy when I was really struggling and coming up with gratitude to kind of break out of that rut and become the best version of myself. And I guess I'll just start right from the top with that, with 4 noble truths that the Buddha said is what makes up life. And I was looking a little bit about him. People view him as just a human who basically broke free from all the BS. And so I think we can learn a lot just from those 4 noble truths that he states. But before we get into any of that, there's 2 Bible verses here that jumped out at me, all about changing to become the best version of yourself and treating your body that way. We can be debt-free, we can be stress-free, we can be alcohol and drug and addiction-free. And we can not watch the news, but boy, we got to have our health more than anything else. And I think that's what God would want us to do. So in these verses, the first is 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. It says, "Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own, for you were bought with a price. So glorify God with your body." And I think the meaning of that is going to be to present our bodies to honor Him, and to not eat peanut M&Ms when you first wake up in the morning, and which I did today, and it was just so empty. It wasn't full afterwards. What I wanted was more, and I just felt bad that I didn't keep that promise to myself yet again. And we think we're going to feel better when we don't keep those promises. But we feel better when we honor ourselves, our bodies, for ourselves and for God. So that's what I took from that. And that fact of always wanting more, that plays so into the Buddha's Four Noble Truths, which I'll talk about towards the end of this video. And the second Bible verse that came jumping out at me today was Ephesians 4:22-24. It says, to put off your old self, which belongs to your former matter of life and is corrupt through deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to put on the new self created in the likeness of God, is true righteousness and holiness. And basically to rid ourselves of lust, desire, deceit, always wanting more. What are we going to put into our bodies to renew ourselves, since we're made in the likeness of God? And what you feed your body is how it grows and thinks. And what you feed your mind is how it grows and thinks. And I've been way more focused, and it's come easier for me to feed my mind better than I'm feeding my body. And I have to find that balance. I can't feed my body with cereal and peanut M&Ms and cupcakes, just as much as I can't feed my mind with negativity and with the news or anything else that would disrupt and corrupt my thoughts. We can take back our bodies, we can break free from that junk cycle and honor ourselves, and by doing so, honor God. But how? Well, here's 5 ways I think how we can do it. So, number 1, how can we turn our body into a temple which is made in the likeness of God, filled with the Holy Spirit, the only one we got. With nothing, we could have everything else, but without our health, we don't have anything. And so how can we do that? Well, here's 5 ways. The first is to focus on real comfort, real love, real companionship, and real fulfillment. The number 1 reason why people overeat beyond their desired calorie intake is for comfort, for love, for companionship, and for emotional fulfillment. And it's so true. And maybe I was in denial of that for a long time. I think one of my friends, Sam, on this channel brought up that, what am I filling up? What holes are in me that I'm filling up with peanut M&Ms and with cereal and with too much pasta and everything in moderation? But there is a different and better way to achieve that comfort, that love, that companionship, that emotional fulfillment. And food isn't needed to fill these holes. God can fill these holes, which is stated in the last 2 Bible verses that I said. So looking at it from that way, we can lean on our spirituality and our faith to help us achieve those connections that might be lacking within us. Number 2 is to eat real food, not processed food. I see it all the time when I'm delivering groceries, just 10 boxes of stuff, piled up in the cart. Frozen dinners, chocolate, chips, cut out the soda, cut out the chocolate. There's food for enjoyment, and then there's food for nourishment, and we got to find a balance there. And I don't think it's 50-50. It might be 90-10. And for me, it's probably the other way, which is not good. And I need to wake up, and I need to make those changes and document these changes with some accountability with you guys. And hopefully I will inspire you to do the same. Another one right here, real hunger, number 3. You don't necessarily have to eat when you wake up. You don't necessarily have to eat when it's dinner time. You don't necessarily have to eat when there's a plate of food in front of you and it looks good. Eat when you're truly hungry, and eat for the right reasons, for nourishment. And when you are truly hungry, your body will use the food that it consumes as nourishment, and it won't use it to be stored in places where maybe we wouldn't want to store it so much. So think about that. Think about real hunger and true hunger instead of just eating for enjoyment. Number 4, being satisfied and not wanting more, right? That's the endless cycle, the desire, the cravings, which we'll get into, and just the gluttony and the undisciplined enough to just more and more and more. Stopping before we are stuffed is a great tactic to build your discipline. So keep an eye on that the next time. Smaller portions, eat mindfully, eat with gratitude, eat with awareness, and stop before you're stuffed. And then number 5, most importantly for me, is the commitment to regaining that temple. I want to do it, but I just have to be strong enough to do it. And it's an everyday discipline to see food as a gift and to be grateful for it, to see food as a gift and for nourishment, and to discipline yourself from all of the junk. And of course, we can enjoy holidays, birthdays. I have a birthday coming up next Wednesday, 43, and we're going out to eat. And, you know, that day will be that day. My mom's going to make me some linguine and pasta on Sunday. But, you know, hopefully I can be good around that. But other than that, I think daily discipline. And let's start taking care of our bodies and breaking free from the junk and nourishing our thoughts and our bodies with positive things and our minds so it can grow and we can be free. Okay, so now getting into 5 daily habits for a clutter-free home. These are, you know, pretty simple things that we can do to bring some calm and some order to our lives, and I know they have greatly enriched my life on my break-free journey. Number 1 is to clean the dishes after your meals, and that means washing your bowl. And there is a Zen parable that says this monk first walked in and he goes, "I'm here, you know, train me to be enlightened." And the master said, "Have you eaten?" And he said, "Yes." And he says, "Okay, well, go wash your bowl." And that is enlightenment. And it's just washing your bowl, because that is what is next. And to just wash the bowl, not to rush, not to think about whatever else, not to think about dessert, not to think about any problems that you might have or what you have to do later. But wash your bowl, because that's the next task. Do it with awareness, do it with mindfulness, feel the water, feel the shape of the bowl. Do it with gratitude that you had a bowl filled with food, and knowing that you're bringing order and calmness to your house. And I often think about that when I do dishes. And really, that's a parable for anything. Do what's next, do it with gratitude, and do it with mindfulness. Number 2, make your bed every morning. Start the day off with a win. That's huge. It's the first step to clutter-free living. Messes attract messes. And just set the tone for your day off right. Make the bed, do the dishes. Number 3, have a clean counter. This was probably the one that got me hooked on minimalism and Zen philosophy. I love a nice clean counter. It doesn't always happen. I do my best with it. Like I said, there's 3 other people in the house. But again, messes attract messes. A clean and clear counter equals calm and order in your life. Number 4, return items nightly. The kids with their toys. Myself with my guitar might be around. Sometimes my wife's pet peeve with me is my shoes. I have a pair of inside shoes that I wear because of the neuropathy in my feet, and then my work shoes, and then I have sneakers that I go out Instacarting with, and my shoes can sometimes not find their home. And, you know, sometimes I'm helping everyone else's, but to bring everyone's items to their home at the end of the night, when I come downstairs and the place is clean, it's just a great feeling. It's a great feeling. So return items nightly. And number 5, do the 1-minute jobs, the 1-minute tasks right away. The remote control, make sure that finds its home. Taking out the garbage, putting the clothes in the hamper. Just today I was walking around grabbing some random socks and this and that. And, you know, now it looks a lot better. And I have a few more random 1-minute jobs to do before the wife and the kids get home from school. But try to implement those 5 daily habits into your life, and you will find your home to be much more clutter-free and more calm, peace, and order into your life. Okay, lastly, the last topic for today, the 4 noble truths. And there's a lot of freedom to be found in this philosophy. And I know it helped me. It set me on my journey. And I think about them often. Number 1, the first noble truth is to live means to suffer. And the Buddha, he was confined in a palace throughout his early life, and his father wanted to keep him and shield him from all of the cruelty of the world, and basically to teach him that life is perfect. And then the Buddha snuck out, and what he saw was a newborn baby boy. He saw a sick old man, a crippled man. He saw death, disease, hunger, all the bad things that you can think of. And these things happen, according to the Buddha, because humans are not perfect. And because humans inhabit the world, that means the world is not perfect. And it's all because of desire and cravings. And as we know, desire leads to suffering and cravings. And if we get what we desire, that craving subsides, but it doesn't subside for long. I want more peanut M&Ms right now. You always want something more. I want more of this. I want more of that. Just getting what we want does not solve anything, and it's a vicious cycle, which leads to the second noble truth, which tells of the origin of suffering. And the origin of suffering, according to the Buddha, is attachment. And so what causes suffering? The origin is attachment. And what we are attached to. So we're attached to something. What do we got to do? We got to break free from that attachment. And the attachment is the desire to have the craving that you have and not to have aversion. I did not want the feeling of putting those M&Ms back in the darn cupboard today. And I didn't want the feeling of not even going to get them yesterday. Don't want the feeling. We all don't want to suffer. We're all attached to something. And it's not about denying yourself, but it's about rising above it and breaking free. Because if you just deny yourself purchasing anything, eating any junk, then you're still a slave to it when you cave in. But it's about rising above. It's about breaking free. So the third noble truth is the cessation of suffering is attainable. It is possible to break free, which is a great thing. We're not just stuck here being attached to everything in an endless loop of desire, cravings, and getting it and avoiding aversion. We can control our desires and practice non-attachment. And the practice, I think, is the key word. And breaking free from attachment is what the Buddha called nirvana. And we can all have little bits of nirvana in our life. And I think the more free that we are, the more nirvana that we have, and which you can just lead to more peaceful, happy, joyful, grateful, mindful existence. And number 4, the fourth noble truth is that the path to the cessation of suffering is living a balanced life and following the Eightfold Path. And what I like about the Buddha's teachings are he tried to find his nirvana, to find his enlightenment, and he would eat like 1 grain of rice per day, and it led to much suffering still. And then he saw the other end where you just eat as much rice as you want, or 1 grain a day. Either way, you're pretty much in bad shape. So it was about the middle way with him. Everything was the middle way. And that's just finding the right balance, leading a balanced life. You can have peanut M&Ms maybe on your birthday. You can have something that you save up for. If you wait a little while, make sure it's a purchase that you need. If your debts are paid off and pay them on time. It's not, I'm never going to spend anything again. It's not, I'm never going to consume anything bad again. It's not, I'm never going to get angry or sad or never get attached. It's living a balanced life, rising above it, breaking free. And he talks about the eightfold path that I will get into a little bit more on a future video. But I think it's something worth checking out as a philosophy, and I think it has a lot to do with breaking free. And if you do all these things, I think you're treating your body as a temple. I think you're going to have a clutter-free home, and I think you're going to have just a better and more peaceful life. I hope this video brought you some value. If it did, let me know, and have a great day and break free. I'll talk to you on the next video.